Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to start off by saying Happy Diwali. If you're not from India, well, Diwali is sort of this annual festival that we have. It's supposed to be the festival of lights. And one of the ways in which we celebrate that is uh, by lighting, at least the way we used to do it is by lighting candles and oil lamps. Nowadays, through the magic of electricity and the invention by Thomas Edison, okay, people are going to correct me about that statement, but anyway, you get the point. We no longer use lamps and candles, we now use electric light bulbs. And so, what we end up doing is having these string lights strung across your balcony and your house. I hate them. Don't get me wrong. I like the notion of decorating our houses with string lights like we do in Christmas. That's just fine. My only objection is the lights that you find online. They are virtual death traps. They are of very poor quality and their safety component is virtually zero. So I decided to make my own. Okay, so the introduction out of the way. These are the light bulbs that I chose. So they are really cheap. I got them online, by the way. They are really cheap light bulbs which have a sort of a faux or a pseudo filament, which is actually an LED. They are 3 watts. So I ended up getting 8 of them in total. And the thing to keep in mind when you buy these are they come in depending on which part of the world you live in, they have different mounting arrangements. So this one is what is called as a B22, I think, or a bayonet style mount. So if you are in North America, it really doesn't matter. You all use this screw type. I don't know the number. I think E27. But if you live in a place like India or Southeast Asia, I think in general you might have a choice of whether you're having the screw one or this bayonet style mount, so you got to note that. And I think I have 8 of them here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I have got 8 bulbs. I got them real cheap. Okay. I also needed wires. So this is a twin core wire. I took a fairly good quality, I like everything to be beefy and over-engineered. So you don't need to buy such a good quality wire. Any mains rated cable would do just fine. You can the way you calculate it is you add up the wattage of each bulb. So these are 3 watts. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's a 24. So that's 24 watts. Not a whole lot. Pretty thin cable would do just fine. If you want to go technical about it, probably half a square millimeter for the conductor is just fine. So yeah, so the wires, and you also need holders for your bulbs. Again, you have to ensure that they come in the matching style. So again, these are B22. So you got to ensure that they are compatible with each other, and these holders are really cool. They are pendant holders, so the wire goes into them and you can hang those. So that's very important. And you also need to find a way to power these. You can certainly add a mains plug to power these. I'm not going to do that. In fact, I'm going to hang this up in my balcony. And my balcony has a spare B22 outlet which I don't use. So I'm going to use this. So it has a mount similar to the B22. So this goes into the outlet that I have on the wall, and then I can wait a minute. I'll figure that out later. And I have a wire coming out through here, which will supply power to these bulbs. So let's get started on this quick little Diwali special project. So there's going to be 8 bulbs. So in between you need 7 segments of cable, and I've actually measured the balcony where I will actually lay these. Let me just quickly get my combination plan. Yeah. So I basically know how long each wire segment needs to be. I need 7 of those and 1 long cable. and the reason for that is because that's the cable that will power the whole device, so that needs to go all the way to my power outlet, so that's going to be a little longer. So that's two, and this is the last of the smaller pieces, and the next one will be a little longer, so that's one, two, and oops, three. That's long enough. Viewers may note, I am using what is called as a lineman's plier or a combination plier to do this. You don't need these. In fact, you can do the same thing using a standard box cutter or a Stanley knife. These wires are thin enough so they can be cut fairly easily with a knife. You just have to be a little more careful, that's it. In fact, the entire project you can complete with just a knife and a pair and a screwdriver, and that's it. You can do it at home just as easily. Okay, the next order of business is something that we call as the stripping of these wires. What you need to do is you need to pull back these insulating layers so that you can expose the bare copper. And I'm going to target about I'm guessing half a centimeter. That's enough, and maybe pull back the outer white casing by about 1 or 2 centimeters. That's it. Again, you can do this very easily with a simple knife. And you don't want to cut too deep that you go into the conductors. So I suggest you take your time. So that exposes the two cores inside. Okay, so these are the two cores, and then again you can use a simple knife to sort of cut away the conductor, cut away the insulator. You can also use what I have over here, which is basically a wire stripper. So these are really handy and does a quick job of actually stripping these cables. But again, you don't need a wire stripper really. A knife will work just fine. Okay, so I just need to do that for all the violins that I have. Now that all the wires have been taken care of, I got to start connecting them to these holders. So what I'm going to do is start from the corner. So this would be the last holder for the string light, and they're fairly easy to connect. This cover screws right off. You insert the cover beforehand, and basically they have these two screw holes over here and here, and this is where the wire goes. You insert the wires in these holes and tighten these screws, and for that you will need a fairly small screwdriver, and this one fits just fine, so I'm going to use this. And here's what I have noticed. If you just insert the copper wire into these holes, they tend to loosen over time. So what I do is I fold them over like so, and then I'm going to insert this wire along with a small length of this insulator, and that basically gives the screw a lot more meat to bite into and it won't come undone. So that's one wire in. The other ones I got to loosen this. Oh yeah, this one goes in, and yeah, it will be a little fiddly, but it's gonna work. Okay, so that's one holder. This one came right off the other end. And it's that simple, guys. You don't need an electrician. So that's your first or the last holder in your string line. The next one will be a little different because we need to connect two wires, because this will also need to be connected to the next one, and so on and so forth. And essentially what we are doing here is having a parallel connection. So if you remember your high school electrical classes or electronic classes, or rather physics classes, you would know that you can have a series connection or a parallel connection, and here we are going for a parallel connection. Same thing here, you loosen these screws so that you can insert the wires, okay, and then you first put in this cover, and here you will have to ensure that both the wires actually goes in. And this is going to be a tight fit, but I think it's going to be okay.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh, come on. You can do it. Yes. Okay. I should have gone with clearly less thicker cables, but I think I can manage. Okay, that's good enough, I think. And now you got to connect these two. Make sure that you don't connect the two wires that's coming from the same cable. I mean, obviously. So the color codes here are really great. So you can connect red to red and twist it over itself a couple of times. So that's red to red being connected, and of course the black to black. Okay. So now these two wires are connected, but you also need to give a connection to the bulb output here. So that's where this will come in. Now since now the wires are quite thick, because there's two thicknesses of these conductors, I don't need to fold the insulation over to get some purchase on this. I can simply put the cable inside, the copper cable I mean, and tighten this down. You don't need to over tighten these. You may strip the threads, and this one goes in. At any rate, so that's 1, 2, and I got to repeat this till I reach the end, and where I again have to connect a single holder. But this entire thing means if I'm finishing this off, there's no way to power this. So in one of the conductors or in one of the holders, I need to have a third output which will power everything, and that will also be in parallel. I'll show you how after I fix 3 more of these. Okay, so now I have connected 1, 2, 3, 4 holders, and the 5th holder is where the power line will actually come in. Now you see the drilling dust over here. I actually had to take out a drill and widen this. Again, please get a cable that is less thick, and 3 of these cables can fit through the opening right here. But here's what we're going to do. So this is the end of the wire, which is connected to the string of holders, by the way. You connect it to the next short segment, which supplies to the bulb adjacent to it, and you also take the longer wire segment, which will actually power everything up. So these 3 cables need to go into the holder. So this is the now widened opening, and I think I can just manage to squeeze 3 of them through. Can I? Oh yes, I can. Awesome. So now that's out of the way. We're going to do a similar thing. We're going to connect red to red to red. Okay. So these 3 red wires goes in together. This is going to be fiddly, but I think I can do it. Oh yeah. Expert electricians might point out there are various innovative and interesting ways of twisting together wires. I once went down a whole rabbit hole of watching these videos. Some of them are really cool and nice. Unfortunately, I don't have that skill set, so I'm just twisting the wires together and praying to God that it holds. And now again, as I showed you earlier, these go into the holes of these screws. So that's one in. Tighten this down. And the next one. Come on, come on, come on. Screw this up. Yeah. Okay. So now you should have everything went well. You should have a shorter segment of wire which goes to the holder adjacent to it, and you have a longer segment of wire which will supply power to the whole thing. So let me connect the other. You know what? Let me first. There's nothing else to do here except connect all the rest of the holders just like I showed you before. But let me connect the supply side. So as I said, this is what I'm using. This is basically the end of a B52 bulb, and we're going to do the same thing. Feed the wires through the hole provided, and again, because there's a single conductor, I am not sure whether there's enough material for the screws to get a hold of. So what I do is I fold these over. This one goes in here, and because this is AC and you're not going to have any switches here, it really doesn't matter which side it goes to. Okay, and as before, you can, oops. So that's my supply. Okay, so everything is connected. Now all I got to do is put the bulbs in. Have you never changed a bulb before? Of course you have. Really easy. You align the bayonets to this slot over here and twist, and that's it. Did I just show you how to change a bulb? Yeah, and all the joke that comes with it, right? And I'm going to be very careful here I don't drop anything, because that would be bad, right? Now the question is, how will I power these up for the first time just for testing? Oh, I know. I have a, where is it? Oh yeah, I have a desk lamp over here which uses a B22 style connector, so I'll just use that. So, are you guys ready? Hey, it works! Oh yeah. Time for me to hang this up in my balcony. Well guys, thanks so much for joining me in this video and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.